Who you got?
We'll go with Hunter Holland and started most of the game ones for us all year. And we just like where he's at. So we're going to give him the ball.
Go ahead, Bob.
Understandably, Monday you didn't really know anything about Santa Clara. What have you found out? What's your take on him? And I assume Zach Barr, he's the director of scouting. So what kind of does he kind of spearhead it? What kind of role does he play in getting you guys ready for a team you don't know much about?
Yeah, to answer the question on Zach, I mean, he'll get in. He gets involved with obviously trying to find as much video as he can. The statistics, we can dig up. What we found out about him is what we knew about him probably by just looking at their overall statistics. They're playing extremely well right now down the stretch. They didn't win the regular season championship. They just basically blew through the field in the tournament, and they're scoring. And we know about their arms. We know the velocities. They're good. I mean, they're older. If you look at their roster, they're older, and they've got a good mix of left and right-handed hitters, and got a couple of guys in the bullpen that are really good, and they've got one that throws 100 miles an hour. And it's just, to me, at this time of the year, it's everybody's good. I don't get too excited about, oh, we have these guys in our regional, or, oh, we're going to get that game first. And my mind moves to the next game, because if you do that, you'll end up losing. So we respect them. We know they're going to play super hard, and that's the game for us tomorrow. We'll be ready mentally.
I guess it's Zach's sixth year with you. What kind of job has he done as scouting, and especially when it's NCAA and its opponent? You haven't played.
I think he's done a great job. I've told him that pretty much at the end of every year the last few years, and I sit down and talk with our coaches about previous year, the year coming up, and their future, and what do they want to do, and different things. But I mean, he does a great job of getting us right as far as helping with where to place our infielders and outfielders. He meets with our infielders. He meets with me. I mean, I could go on and on, but I guess just to answer your question, I think he's done a great job.
Alyssa?
Dave, after 19 or so of these, what is your approach when you enter a regional as the head coach every year?
Well, you don't change the way you work out. You don't go crazy. You don't work out for 4 hours if you've been working out for an hour and 45 minutes leading up to it. You don't show panic. You just go do what you do. You're there for a reason, because you've had a good season. You've earned it. And you just try to take the pressure off the players as much as possible, and tell them to enjoy it. But you gotta get after it. You can't take anybody lightly, because if you do, I mean, these teams are good. And if you open the door, they're going to kick it in, and you're in trouble, and you're going to have to fight. And, it doesn't really, playing at home is great, and I love it. We were on the road for 11 straight nights. It's a lot of hotel. Takes a couple of days to get that out of your system, honestly. And really glad we're here. We've had a good year here. Seem like players are comfortable here. The fans have been amazing this year, probably as good as I've ever seen, as far as knowing when to cheer and knowing when to just help us. And it has helped us. And we have a good team. We're not superstar laden. We have a team. That's what we have. And, maybe to win a championship or a division in the big leagues, you got 162 games to figure it out, and the best team's going to end up finishing at the top. We don't have that many games. We just have to play good in the games that we play. And that's what I tell them all the time. And we've had guys go down this year. We've had guys pick them up. We've had guys, and I've said it many a time, that weren't playing early. They kind of got thrown into the fire, and they acted like they should have been there all year. And their teammates have supported them. It's been really fun for me as a coach to watch this develop. He threw a great bullpen the other day, and it's kind of interesting. He'd been so good, and then it didn't go good there his last 3 outings, and you're kind of like, what happened? And we feel like he's back on track. And man, this game sometimes it's so mental. It's you just let everything get in your head and bother you, and next thing you know, you can't hit, you can't field, you can't throw strikes, and sometimes you get off to the side a little bit, and you regroup and slow the game down, and you're back in there again. So we got to have him if we're gonna get through this thing and have a chance to play after this weekend. We've got to have him. He's going to be out there.
Coach, when you look at your lineup and just the numbers are what they are, it's not like they jump off the page, but in your view, what would you say it is that sets this group apart, and what's kind of the key to them, swinging their best bats down the stretch, and what sets them apart from other lineups that you've had recently?
Yeah, if you look at our statistics compared to maybe the 3 teams that are in here, and then you take it to the league that we play in, and that's really more fair because we're all facing about the same pitchers. We don't play everybody every year, but we're in the middle to the bottom of the pack in batting average, and but what we've done is we fought you at the plate, and we'll get your pitch count up. We'll foul off pitches, and if you make a mistake, we usually get you. And that's why we won the league. When teams made a mistake, we would score runs, and then we put together some good innings. But it's a team that has to feed off each other, or a lineup that has to feed off each other, and they help each other when they come back and tell each other what they've seen, what to look for. Lefties with lefties, righties with righties, and I don't know. It's opportunistic offense. If you give us something, we usually take advantage of it.
I don't know how accurate the number is, but I saw the other day that Santa Clara's season attendance was like 9,000, somewhere in that range. How big of a factor do you think this atmosphere and just this stadium is going to be for them coming into a situation like that?
Well, you never know how that's going to play out. If we get up on them, I think it could play a factor. If they get up on us, it's a little different. But yeah, you just never know. I'm sure they're looking forward to playing in front of that many fans if they haven't done it before. Older kids, usually it doesn't bother them too much. They kind of they want to see what it's all about. So I don't know, but it can help. It can help on a certain player too. Maybe they can't hear or something's going on, but yeah, it's hard for me to really comment because I don't know their personality, so to speak, that much.
Coach Filter kind of made his name with pitching like Strasburg, and have you come across him much? And what do you know of Coach Filter?
I don't know him that much. Been around him. We played San Diego State. Gosh, it's been a few years. Tony was there, and Gwen, and played him here and at their place in a tournament. Coach Hobbs knows him, from the pitching fraternity, so to speak, and so they've talked more, and just he's a good guy, good coach, done a good job. I mean, you got to give him credit. He's taken that team, and I don't know what they were projected to do this year, but they've exceeded it by a lot.
My last one. 3 of your top 4, Josenberger, Wagner, Boyfriend, aren't hitting as much right now.
Yep.
It's a little different to go into a postseason like that. How do you feel about maybe their ability to break out?
Yeah, it was good to see Josenberger get 2 hits his last 2 at bats in the tournament. They're both right-handed, and those were tough at bats. He fouled off a lot of pitches to get something he could handle. Wagner, he didn't have a good week. I wish we could have got him in the lineup a week before, but we're facing Vanderbilt, and they can really pitch, and they're tough at home. And he had a ball off the top of the wall there that almost got out of the park, and then that was his only hit in the 3 games, I think. And then he hit that laser grand slam out of the park that wasn't for that we don't win that game. Those are his 2 hits, and he's hit both of them hard. He's really improved since as far as his bat speed, because he had broke his thumb, and it's been bothering him. And had it looked at on Monday when we got back, and every x-rays, everything said it's healed properly. He can't hurt it anymore. There is some pain still. I think that eased his mind a little bit, and he swung it better in batting practice the last 2 days than he swung it the last 2 weeks, that by a lot. So we'll see how that goes. And Jace he was real steady all year. Then he got super hot, and then obviously the hits stopped coming. There were some balls that were hit hard, but on that 6-game road trip, not much there. I think maybe a home run at Vandy, and that was the only ball he hit, really. in the sixth game. He hit another ground ball hard at somebody, but you know, we've talked, and you know, he's got to relax a little bit. And there's always outside things, you know, you're talking about guys that are eligible for the draft, and there's all these, you know, this chit chat and worry and things that drive coaches crazy. And I think we've got these guys. Hey, just stay in that locker room. You'll be fine. And they've had good weeks. Hopefully it'll, you know, come out in the games and against live pitching. You never know.
Before the LSU game last week, you hadn't pitched Hunter out of the bullpen. Did you do that with the thought that he might start this game?
Yeah, we thought he might start this game. We've also liked the way he bounces back. And if we're fortunate enough to be around on Sunday night, or we have to play Monday, he could come back and pitch again. And, you know, so, but really, we just felt like, you know, I think the first 7 SEC weekends, something like that, he started on Fridays, something like that. I don't know exactly. He has a lot of experience going game 1, and we like that.
How far has he progressed with the injury that he's got?
He's
saying a few weeks ago he couldn't
yeah.
feel the leg.
Yeah, he's a lot better. A lot. Like it's probably just about gone. And you know, it's actually starting to get better when he pitched really well here about 3 weeks ago, and then it was at South Carolina maybe. And then it bothered him a little bit after that. And then it got better. And I think it's continued as far as what I was told yesterday, that he's feeling really good.
You alluded to it about the toughness of the region. An AP rider, we ran an AP story. I guess this guy knows what he's talking about. He rated your all's regional the toughest. I think Oklahoma State's regional the second toughest. What do you think about that?
Yeah, you know, at this time of year, I don't read anything. I don't read D1 baseball. I don't read Twitter. I don't get on. I don't want to get caught up in the hype. I don't want. That's why I ask you. But I know that I thought that how could it be tougher? You know, when I look at the team and I look at the numbers that Arizona's put up this year, and they're a team that didn't know if they were going to get in, so they're probably extremely excited. TCU's on fire. I mean, they beat us about as bad as we've been beaten all year. Second game of the year. I mean, they hammered us, flat out, just hammered us. And you know, they ran off some more wins, and then they kind of went the other way. It's what baseball does to you. Who knows what got it going? Then, man, when they got out of it, you know, the word on the street is the team you don't want to play right now is TCU. They're on fire. And so I would have to say this regional is in the top 2 as far as toughness. I don't know who's harder, me looking at them, but I haven't seen everybody actually play on the field.
Website.
No, not that. Do you have a website?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
That's bad about it. And that's going over. When you look at Hunter's season as a whole, just how would you kind of sum up his first year here with y'all?
Really consistent. You kind of know what you're getting. He really cares. Great effort. Popular amongst our team. You know, he had a game or two where it didn't go well, and I think some of that had to do with that leg, honestly. But just consistent, confident, pitches with a little bit of an attitude, and fields his position pretty good. Confident guy. I've said it 3 times now. I just like what he takes out there when he gets the ball, you know, and if it doesn't go good, you can live with it as a coach.
TCU in Arizona recruited in part by Schlossnagle and Jay Johnson, you know, who are in the SEC now. Knowing what you know about them, do you see any similarities between those 2 West teams?
Well, it's hard for me to say on the Arizona, you know, I haven't seen them as much, just really looked at their numbers, and we'll watch them tomorrow. But TCU, to me, they had a really good mix as far as athleticism, power. They played really good defense, and they can steal bases, and they can beat you in a lot of different ways. And obviously they pitch. So to me, it looks like Arizona will try to outslug you. Doesn't mean they can't pitch. They play in Arizona, and the ball travels. So their pitchers' ERAs are probably going to be higher than they would be if they played here or in the Midwest or out East or whatever. But yeah, just well put together teams, you know. It doesn't do you any good if you can't field. If you can really pitch, you can't field. It probably doesn't matter. If you can't score runs, I mean, you got to have everything. And looks like to me, looking at the numbers, all three of the teams have everything and they can all beat you. I think this regional's wide open.
Coach, appreciate the time.
Okay, thank you.